Hey guys, Christian Smith here with Smith Surface Cleaning, based out of Oldsmar, Florida. This is my Ford Ranger flatbed truck-mounted pressure washing system. I specialize in full home exterior cleaning with some small commercial right now. I've been in the business for approximately 5 to 6 months now, and there's not a lot of videos out there showing setups, and I've had to do a bunch of research and whatnot, and right now this is working for me. So I just wanted to show you that I start off and I have a 275 gallon buffer tank. Now when I come up to a job site, I'm going to pull my hose off. I have 100 foot of hose on here first and then 50 foot underneath. I find that 100 foot is adequate for most jobs to get to where I need to the water source. Now currently I don't have a Hudson valve or a water shutoff, so I just have to keep my eye on the tank. But what I'll do is I'll pull the hose out and I go into the top of my buffer tank there. And generally speaking, when my water level reaches right about here, I'd say 1/3 of the way, I feel that that's adequate for me to go ahead and start my pump. Now I run what most people do when they first start off. This is a GX390 13 horsepower engine. I've just modified the skid. I've actually put this together myself. This is going to be a Cat 60G gear reduction pump, GP unloader valve. This is mostly rated for 2-gun use, but I find it works well for me. It's a trapped pressure unloader valve. Currently this pump right here is pushing approximately 4.5 gallons per minute. So it depends on who you speak with. They say you could still run a garden hose straight off this, but I like to use the buffer tank so I don't starve my pump of water. So either way, this is a Titan hose reel. On the hose reel, I carry 250 feet of hose. I find that to be adequate for most jobs that I do. On the end of my hose, a must-have for anybody is going to be your on-off valve. This is rated for 4,000 PSI, so don't go and try to make your own on-off valve with something at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's going to blow up in your hand. That generally runs me about $49. I don't know why. I haven't had much luck with this brand. It is Pressure Components Inc. They tend to actually blow out around here on the actual valve itself and just leak a little bit. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Either way, 250 feet of hose. This is non-marking from Northern Tool. You can find it on sale. Sometimes I get it secondhand and it seems to work well for me. Also, I carry another 100 feet right there, just in case situations. So, like I said, I come to the house, fill up my tank, I wait for it to get about 1/3 of the way. Now, how it's connected to my pressure washer here is a rubber sweeping 90, reduced down to 1 inch, and then I have stretched 5/8 inch garden hose over that. That comes around and it is hooked into my pressure washer right there with a threaded end right here, 5/8, and then it is a barb fitting on this end. Then going out to my hose, I got this little 2.5 foot section of 4,000 PSI hose from Northern Tool. Just had to get a fitting right there, and it went into my Titan hose reel. Titan hose reel is nice. It's got a lock on it. I can lock it when I pull out the adequate amount of hose because I don't like it unraveling on me. Also, on the flatbed here, this is a new setup, by the way. I just recently got this. I have 2 pump-up sprayers. I use one for my house wash, or if I need to get pesky spots on the concrete and isolate them, I keep the house wash in there. Also, I have rust and stain remover, which is a concentrate that I mix up, and then also a house wash here. This is a must-have, I feel, for home exterior cleaners, and this was purchased at Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas down here in Florida, any other pool store or something. This is called a Cobweb Brush. This is a must-have for cleaning homes. Gets the cobwebs off. You don't want to soak those up with water because they're just going to stick to the side of the house and whatnot. So I like to take my pool wand here, 16-foot extension. I clip that on there and get the cobwebs off first. Also, Another component to my house washing method before I start is any mud daubers or wasp nest. This is also from a pool store. This is a 45-degree angle stiff bristled brush. This really cuts down your time. You can run this along the drip edges of houses as your buffer tank is filling up. You can go ahead and knock the cobwebs down, do a quick walkthrough, find areas of concern where you need to concentrate on, maybe isolate some stains with your house wash, and go ahead and knock wasp nests down. Say if they're up on the soffits, you don't want to apply too much pressure up there. Soffits have been known to bend up into the house, even with soft wash. I've done it before, but always keep gloves on my setup here. When I wind my hoses up, I like to keep gloves on because you can catch a piece of metal in your hand. As far as extensions, I carry a 5-foot and a 3-foot. I find that adequate for doing just about anything. I have a long throw chemical tip, so I can reach with this setup up to 3 stories and clean effectively. Other than that, this is about what I keep on hand. I always keep an extension cord. Sometimes I don't know if I need to bring a leaf blower for anything. Sometimes homeowners ask me to do odd ends here and there. One other thing I do recommend is when you get a trigger or a gun, go ahead and build it yourself and put a quick connect right here. A lot of times I find myself putting my nozzles in my gun. It's because I don't need a section of lance on there. Another thing, just to show you, I pull chemicals out of my 5-gallon buckets. I don't run a chemical tank right now, but when I do, I use a Downstream Injector right here. This is for a 5.5 gallon per minute pump. It is an Inline Downstream Injector, and it'll go here, and I'll take this off and put it on this end right here. Now, a lot of times guys have problems with the hose curling up in the buckets. Pretty much all I've done right here is taken the frame, do a little push and ground foundation sign. I've mechanical wired it around to this little L, and all I do is I simply throw it in my bucket. I leave my ball valve open, let that vacuum suck up my chemical, and be sure not to let it run into the grass or anything like that. But as you get the hang of it, you'll know when your chemical is ready to be sprayed out of the gun or when it's drawn out completely. Pre-soaking vegetation in mid-afternoon, early morning, you shouldn't have to. Yes, I do use chlorine, but it is diluted with a house wash mix and emulsifiers. So basically, this is my setup. It works out very well. It's efficient. It's low cost. The tank is under $50. I don't see you having to pay any more than that. Pump-up sprayers, as you almost know, $20 each. The hose reel I got secondhand for under $100. 100-foot section of hose at Northern Tool, like I explained earlier, can be obtained on sale sometimes for a little bit over $100. It is pricey, and I do have a lot of money in my hoses, but you don't ever want to show up to a job site and not have enough. It's really frustrating, and it's happened before, so that's why now I keep 350 feet of hose. And just remember, if you have a lower end pressure washer and pump that's not pushing out a lot of PSI, for every foot of hose that you have, you're going to lose 1 PSI. So in theory, I'm running approximately 4,000 PSI with this Cat 60G. I think with my unloader, I've dropped it down to 3,800 PSI. I have 250 feet of hose, so take that 3,800 PSI and drop that down another 250 for the length of my hose. That's actually what I'm running at. So either way, this is a good setup. I really like it. It's efficient. It's on an efficient vehicle. Flatbed, can get to everything, and it's great. Let me know what you guys think. Appreciate it.